talked previously in this video, but I think it's worth repeating that we have lots of suppliers. I mean, tons of suppliers, thousands and thousands of product in Dropship Blueprint, but we fully expect you're going to find things that you want to sell that are not in there. So we show you how to find suppliers online. And then, of course, we also have our secret weapon, as I've said before, where we've got an e-commerce expert, Dave Hermanson, who is ready to help you. If you find something that you want to sell, you can't find a supplier either through Dropship Blueprint or the other ways that we teach, then you submit a support ticket and our team will help you. Simple as that. The competition question is one of my favorites because I think that people, it's been my experience anyway, people are always looking for a reason not to do something, okay? And you know what, if you're worried about competition, then I suggest that you not get into any business because it's pretty rare that you're going to find a business that has no competition. Online, I mean, just imagine how many different markets there are, how many different niches there are, and then within those niches, how many different sort of keyword phrases there might be to go after, and how many different countries you might be able to sell that same thing to. It's virtually limitless, okay? And so, you can always find a way to compete in even the most competitive of markets. I mean, take Apple or as an example with iPod and some of the things that they've done. They didn't invent MP3 players, right? They didn't invent the iPhone. They didn't invent the cellular phone. They came into a market and they just executed better. They found a different way in. And so, that's what we teach. We're probably not going to find markets that no one else is in. I'd be shocked if you're going to find a market that no one else is in. But we're going to find our little way inside, that market and be able to get our piece of the pie, our piece of the traffic pie that gets us, maybe 1 to 2 sales a day, maybe 2 to 4 sales a day. But we can make a living on that, and oh, by the way, that's just one store, and we can have many stores because there's no barrier to entry here. There's no big cost involved to having many stores. So competition, in my mind, is just not a problem. So if you're outside of the U.S., and by the way, plenty of our most successful customers and students from the original Niche Blueprint were outside the U.S., not to worry. There is plenty of material, and where it's different for if you're outside the U.S., we make note of that, and we've accounted for that. So please feel free, jump in and work with us. You won't be disappointed there. We have made it a huge goal not to have other costs in order to be successful with Niche Blueprint 2.0. And other than really getting your own domains and hosting, there are no other costs. There's nothing else that you need. Every single tool, piece of software, all the training, all there. Absolutely all there. Two fantastic things about Niche Blueprint sites. One, they do not take a lot of time. It's perfectly reasonable to think it would be maybe 3 to 4 hours of your time per week to sort of, get a project off the ground, start to process the first orders, things like that. So 3 to 4 hours a week is just a perfectly reasonable sort of budget number for the amount of time that you have to spend. Now, as the site grows, lots more orders come in, that may increase. But, of course, that's a pretty good problem to have, right? Which brings us to reason number 2 that Niche Blueprint projects are so great, and that's the ability to outsource, okay? You can easily outsource the ongoing maintenance, the order, fulfillment, the processing that you have to do anyway. Easily outsource that to some very cheap labor, and we show you how to do that within the course. But, you can literally sit on the beach and, maybe log in once a day and make money because you've outsourced all of the work. Very quick story. I was out on my boat with 2 good buddies of mine. We were out all day. We were traveling all day. And we had come into port, and I logged in. And they asked me, well, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm just kind of checking on basically how much revenue these sites brought in. And so I was sharing with them, and I told them how much. And they said, They both looked at each other and said, but you didn't do anything today. It's like, okay, this is the beauty of having a business that you can build with Niche Blueprint. Everyone always wants to know how long it's going to be before I make money, right? I get it, I understand. It's obviously pretty hard to answer that question. Here's how we've always answered it. It is not unreasonable, okay, that you should make your first sale within 30 days of having your site up and running. I think that's pretty safe to say. It's a pretty reasonable expectation. And since there really isn't a lot of cost involved in running these, that's profit right there. So I think that's really what you could focus on is first sale within 30 days of having your site up and running. Totally doable and reasonable. Well, I want to thank you so much for hanging in there if you've made it to the end and taking the time to really watch this video about Niche Blueprint 2.0. I think it's really important. I think it's an incredible way to start 2010. And please remember that we launch on Monday, January 11th at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, and we desperately hope to see you then. Thanks very much.